Connecting. Weird na itsura ng Facebook ngayon, no? Bago rin ba? Yeah.
Baka sa'yo lang kasi special ka.
Yeah,
Baka para sa mga influencer pa lang nagbabago.
hindi nagbago sa'yo.
Parang hindi naman. Well, it's already been changed like the last few weeks pa yata.
Okay. Siguro baka ko. Huli sa balita. Ayun, no? There we are. Interesting. Share to page. Share to page. So where's the link? Damn it.
I shared it now on my Facebook.
Ah, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
On Pop Beans na.
Oh no. Miss Pam, parang may gimmick ka tonight, ah.
What? Private personal party.
Invite mo naman kami.
Mag-live tayo next time.
Magla-live set ka.
I've been watching so many live sets on YouTube. Galing. All the DJs are out.
Yeah.
Galing. Their home setups. Galing. Ganda.
Yeah. There are a few people I know who've been doing that.
I love it.
Some of them are raising funds for the bars.
Yeah.
Kasi it's one of the last industries to open up. So, kailangan talaga.
Yeah.
I've been watching all the international ones like sila Armand Van Helden. Grabe, tatanda na pala na. I feel so old.
Just mentioning their names, no, you feel old.
I'll show you to it. It's like really, it's rocking out. Armand Van Helden, it's like my favorite, di ba? 50 years old na pala yung hype na yun. It's like, God damn it. But in fairness, he looks younger than me. In fairness. Okay na.
Yeah, lapit na. Just a few more seconds.
It's there now on Pop Beans.
Yeah, it's Pop Beans, and then just share it with the next group. All right. Si Miss Pam, maraming fans yan, so.
Grabe.
Ayos.
Hindi ka tayo. What?
Okay, we're ready. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Istoryang futBOLERO. My name's Ron Poblete. I'm with Mikel Paris. Tonight we have a special guest, a very, very special guest. She's a very hardworking lady, young lady, to be more precise. She used to be I don't know if she's still a DJ, but she used to spin. She used to DJ at pub in Quezon City, but now she's working for the government. Please welcome Miss Pam Carbonell. Yeah.
Hello. Thank you for having me. Also, I still DJ.
I still DJ? Okay, good.
Yeah,
good,
but
good.
since it's community quarantine,
yeah. So, Teka, this is something that I don't know about Pam. I haven't really, Pam and I work together at the DILG, and Pam, I haven't really asked Pam about stuff outside her work at the DILG. So, Pam, so you still DJ during the weekends?
No, it depends. But lately, no, na, because COVID happened.
COVID.
But before COVID, you were still doing your sets.
Yeah. Or joining events for the DJ community here in the Philippines. So.
And where do you normally have your gigs? Where do you normally spin?
My home base is in Today X Future and Futurist. So it's in Quezon City and Makati. So that's my home base because that's where all it started, the love for music, underground music, and then I learned DJing from the community there. And then it expanded to events like the same owners or one of the owners expanded into Unknown. So it's also a group that's also promoting music. It's more of an international thing. So yon. So I've been also part of that. So I owe a lot to the music community, underground music for my creativity actually. So yon.
Ron, kung wari, alam ko kung saan yung mga
So it's
placement.
no?
Mga bata
What?
lang yan.
Mikel?
Parang pa mga bata lang, kung wari, I still go to those gigs. No? Nice.
Poblacion! I'm sure you've heard.
Pablo, bro. Well, some of my really good friends are DJing. So, in Nocal, and I have
Nocal,
one of my...
yeah.
Yeah, so si Jason Song, shout out, Jason, love you. And then, a few, like, I really have huge admiration for DJ. So one of my really good friends, he lived with me when I was in London for a while kasi he studied in London School of Sound. Hayop no? May ganun pala talaga.
Wow.
And he was doing all his DJ stuff there. Because I used to think, like, oh, don't you just press play and then pucha, yung palang complicated pala nun.
Exactly. And actually, yun nga, that's, thank you for saying that you appreciate, because some people don't really get what DJing is or the community itself. So that's why when ngayon na community quarantine, parang people don't get why we lose jobs or parang wala lang if the bars close down. But it's really a community and maraming apektado talaga because of COVID.
Oh yeah, for sure. We've had a few guests here. Normally, I don't know if Ron told you, but normally on Wednesday we have a musician or somebody from the music industry here. So the past few, maybe 3 or 4 weeks now, they talk about how it's impacted the industry, all the fundraisers that they're doing, how to help each other. Kasi you guys are really, really, well, musicians are really hard hit kasi walang gig. Diba? So, and it's not just the, I don't know, wala si Ron. It's not just the musicians, it's everybody else who works also in the bar, or even in the entertainment place. So a few weeks before also we had somebody from the entertainment, from, like somebody who hosts events. And he was saying, syempre the light guy, the stage guy, the
production, talaga.
Yeah. So, kawawa naman. So.
And then, yun nga, parang the general perception is, bisyo lang yan. People think na wala lang naman yan or it doesn't matter. But really,
well,
when you're sad, you listen to music, right? You go to bars.
Dude, I'm telling you, that's all I do. I mean, I listen to music all the time. Like, my kids laugh at me because, like, even when I water the garden like 2 or 3 times a day. And I have my earphones on and I'm just listening away. Like kanina, somebody sent me a Manolet Dario mix. I was like, just listen to that. Armand Van Helden. All these favorite DJs of mine. And I just listen to it. It just makes all my problems go away for at least the time that I'm listening. So I really appreciate it. I mean, I love music. And I feel really bad for the guys because, some of you, like, you're fortunate enough. You have another side gig. You have you have a 9 to 5 or whatever working, which we'll talk about later. But other people really, their whole passion, their whole life is just into the music, and that's all they do. So, things just dry up now. So it's very, very, very hard for them. Talagang I hope it will go back. We had Juris here a few weeks ago also, and she was talking, welcome back, Ron. And Juris was talking about, like, because they're talking about, like, everybody now just watches YouTube, diba? If you want to see a lot of the famous musicians are going on YouTube lah. But the question is, would you be willing to pay to watch somebody on
that's
on
also
YouTube?
the thing.
Kasi
so you're still talking about
Music.
events?
Music, bro, music.
Music? Wow, talaga, Mikel.
And the industry.
That's how I roll,
last
bro.
event I knew about, talaga. Last thing I knew about Pam doing events was at Poblacion, diba, Pam?
Yeah.
So before this happened, did you frequent that place?
Like a long time ago.
That was not a long time ago.
No, I mean, it seems like a long time ago.
Yeah, I know, right? But you do have like events where it's attached to a special cause, right? Marami ka ring mga ganun.
Yes. Yeah, that's why I say I owe a lot to the X Future, the home base, because I remember we were raising funds for when Kadapawan happened. Do you remember that, the rice problem in Kadapawan? So we started the fundraiser there, and then dinala ko personally yung donations to Kidapawan, and then I had to go in and out in one day because of the security problems. But things like that, we also
You
do
did
that.
Kidapawan? You went away?
Yeah. That was like how many years ago?
It's a good.
But I mean,
it's a good thing that
it happens
It's a good thing you
kasi.
mentioned that experience.
Na parang,
I don't know if Pam will be. I don't know if Pam will be comfortable in talking about this, but before she entered government, she had like a really good trajectory that or like journey.
Are we gonna bring that up here?
DJ, actually, when you were a student, you were some sort of an.
Kasi I
It's
come from
okay.
UP.
I mean, I just want your
I'm
example
from
of how to
UP.
do things
I'm from
right.
UP Diliman. I'm mass comm, mass communications. So I mean, it's the culture really there is activism is really ingrained in our culture. Like, kasi when in UP you meet all kinds of people, all kinds of students from all walks of life. So you're opened up to a lot of realities. So and bata ka, 'di ba? Syempre, you feel the passion na
Questionable, yeah.
So I mean, yeah,
Makibaka.
Bubundok ba sana to si Pa? Bubundok ba sana si Pa?
Bubundok sana.
We're on live.
Pam, FYI lang I'm also from UP pero from Los Baños. Hindi ako nakibakid. Hindi ako makita ng bundok.
Talaga, UP Los Baños is so much more active in what was your course?
Biology. Pipilitin lang kami minsan ng mga taga-Diliman na protesta about tuition. Pero di naman kami umabot kasi lasing na kami, layo-layo. Tapos we'll just stay na lang sa probinsya. Kaya I joke my UP friends now kasi may dami pa rin mga nagrereklamo na taga-UP, nagalit. Diba? They're always protesting. I said, fair enough. At least the spirit's there. I said, but what are you protesting now? Kasi libre na yung tuition eh. Hindi ko na alam. Dati kasi tuition, every time tataas yung tuition, ganun. Galit kami lahat eh.
Yes. Well, kasi I don't know what our age gap is. Pero nung time,
my ID number started with 99. Sorry.
Oh, not that hard. Pero kasi sa amin, socialized tuition fee eh. So like bracketed. So if you're if your parents are well off, like you're in bracket A, and then so medyo tumaas na talaga yung tuition fee during our time. So I understand why. I mean, just to be clear, I understand and I get why activism should be there, and I don't think idealism should ever be looked down. So,
of course, yeah.
And then, so that's why
wala naman. Grabe
what is it
maganda.
that when the two of you say it, it's so onyo?
Si Ron lang yun, taga-Ateneo yun. Ako, 1 year na ako nag-Ateneo, taga-UP ako.
Hindi, may disclaimer kagad si Pam eh. Pero naiintindihan ko naman yan. But we had a very interesting conversation before. I think this was early on when we met each other when she started for CFCR. I think diba? You came in and I came in like a little later. And we had this conversation about her going to UP. Sabi niya, so bibigyan ko. So ano ka, aktivista ka? Sabi ko, sir, sabi niya, actually. Tapos, and then she said something very interesting about her experience when she went through that phase. And you realize what exactly, Pam? I know, you don't have anything against people who are activists, but what did you realize about that experience? Okay lang yan,
It was more of wait now. Inisip ko yung kung saan ako nag-pivot eh. I mean, when was that time? Siguro around 2016 May when President Duterte came into power. Because I specifically remember posting something on Facebook because it came up just a few weeks ago. Something like, kasi nung time na yun, nainis ako eh. Kasi ang daming kabatch ko, or hindi naman kabatch ko, basta ang dami sa feed ko before, we're saying na, President Duterte came into power, so like, it's time to leave the country, I'm just gonna go abroad, I'm gonna go to here, there. Kasi inis ako, kasi sabi ko, parang now when I think at that time, the country needs us the most because there are so many institutional changes that we have to do. Tapos ngayon kayo aalis. Ngayon kayo magsasabi na it's not worth it. Parang if we're really gonna fight for genuine change, or yung mga sinasabi natin sa streets na baguhin ang sistema, we can't do that if we leave the country or give up on it, diba? So yun yung time na around 2016, I decided na I have to go into government because I think that you have to change it from within. I mean, at least be part of the process of how it happens, so you know also what to change or to bridge the gap between communities and the government. Kasi, di ba? Parang...
Actually, diyan ko binis yung yung caption dun sa yung alam mo yung social card mo, yung parang promo card mo. Changing the government from within. I think that that caught my my attention when you told me about that story, because it's seldom that you see kids your age, not kids.
Okay, I'm still a millennial.
People from your generation, kasi sa bagay at that age rin kasi ang idea mo, walang compromise yung idealism. It's either you go for the 100% change or or not. Parang there's no halfway. And then wala pa yung idea of compromise, wala pa sa isip mo na wala sa isip mo na things are not black and white, na merong gray areas talaga, everything that's happening now, diba? So
actually, that's what I learned. Kasi yun nga, coming from UP, and then sobrang ako noon, and then I went into documentary din kasi. And during that time, that's when I realized kasi sometimes kasi nagagalit ako na we had to interview these officials na I know, and I will not name, who are very corrupt or had this history of maligning the Philippines or something. And then I kept asking my you might know her, diba? Si Sally Bellosillo.
Oh yeah. Si Sally, kilala ni Mikel yun.
Yeah. So
okay, kilala mo si Sally Bellosillo?
Yes.
For football, EFL rin. Anyway, okay.
But she was my mentor in documentary. And then sabi ko talaga galit ako na mag-interview kami ng some officials. Say, corrupt yan. Why are we gonna give him talking space? Ganyan. So then she parang she was telling me na, for things to happen, sometimes you have to talk to these people because they're in power. And they can also do change. You just have to steer them into that direction. So I had to learn that years Parang, so that's the gradual change towards finally deciding going into government finally. It didn't happen naman overnight or pero parang I learned talaga na maraming gray areas in the world, policy making and the implementation of them. So yun, kaya siguro ngayon
kasi kami Pam, kasi ni Mikel, malala namin nung college kami, iniisip lang namin girls,
ikaw lang yun, Ron.
Oo nga, kasi taga-UP si Mikel
Ang dami ka pa. Dahil ka pa.
Bye. So sometimes I wonder, itong mga nagiging parang hindi na sila pumapasok sa eskwela. What do they do in their talagang the whole time that they're not in school? What's going on there? Like, can you tell us what the life is, the lifestyle is for these activists?
Hindi naman siguro meron naman talagang hindi pumapasok kasi they really gave their life to the movement. Kasi movement siya, 'di ba? I mean, iba-iba. I'm not saying just one, pero movement siya. So some of them feel na parang this is my life na, and this is where I'll dedicate it. So yun. Pero meron din kasing mga parang they just walk out of classrooms for a specific, time. So di naman lahat yan hindi pumapasok. And marami naman dyan, they just really wanna graduate. But also feel the need for change. So sumasali sila sa protests. Pero gusto nila graduate. So iba-iba rin talaga eh. So we can't say na parang generalized siya na lahat ng hindi pumapasok or lahat ng activists. Ganun sila. So hindi naman lahat ganun. So yun nga, like me, I'm an example. Nag-graduate naman ako. So, yun.
Paano ka na hindi? Jay, Pam.
How did I? Okay.
From UP, you
so
ended
sana
up...
hindi ko pinapanood ng mga boss natin, no? But, syempre, I like to drink. Yun. So, just nung time na yun, parang single, ganyan, diba? So you go to bars. Tapos, attracted ako before dun sa Cubao area because, Cubao Expo, if you know it, Cubao Expo, and then, yun nga, Today's Future, kasi underground siya. Like, walang may kaalam sa'yo, respect your space, hindi siya yung parang bars na, talagang pick up, sobrang, ng culture doon. So, yun, I really like the underground music kasi parang doon mo lang maririnig yung ganong type of music na hindi lahat EDM or hindi lahat pop. So, tas may jazz nights before doon. So, every Tuesday jazz night doon. So, I really go there. Tapos, I met my fiance there. So, yeah. So, siya nagturo sa akin actually. Siya nagturo sa akin mag-DJ talaga. So, kasi DJ na siya doon. So, actually, I picked him up there.
Uy, ikaw nag-pick up. Ikaw nag-pick up.
Joke lang. But I mean, kasi siya nag-DJ doon one night and then we got to talk. So, yun. Tapos natuto ko mag-DJ and then, yun nga, open arms ang Today's Future with new DJs, up-and-coming DJs. So, they also taught me the culture naman. Kasi it's also, it's also different culture din. How to DJ. And then referred me to different bars na in Bowery, in BGC, in other bars na. And then yun na, lumaki na yung
yun na. Rota ni Mikel yun yung mga sinasabi mong mga bars eh.
Yeah.
Umabot lang sa BGC.
Local is
Bro, I think I've been to local twice pa Christmas party pa. Naka sa akin yung may-ari, hindi ako pupunta doon ba?
We'll go there sometime.
Hindi na ako lumalabas. Magpo-40 na ako next week, bro. I cannot. I'm just too tired from...
Dun yung next episode, right after ng quarantine. Okay na yung bars. So, dito kami ngayon. So,
yung next episode ng Istoryang futbolero, Istoryang bar.
Naka-live na.
Pam, so what kind of music are you into and what kind of sets do you have?
Kasi nga since I was starting before, marami ako natutunan. But usually, it's house. And then, kasi we have to do urban, kasi may theme siya per nights eh. So yun, sometimes nga house, techno. So depende sa night. But then, lately, since meron kasi kaming night before sa Black Market na nag-host, so we do either experimental beats pag dun sa mountain or pop. Yung medyo hip-hop na trap, gano'n. Sorry. Pero yeah, yun. So, it depends.
Nag-BTS ka ba? Nag-BTS ka ba? Yung mga gano'n? Nag-BTS ka? Yung mga Korean na boy bands?
BTS. The Korean.
K-pop.
No, it's one thing I won't play. K-pop. Sorry, gets ko yung K-pop fans, pero for me, kaya sa amin, no requests eh. Like, if you do your set, respect my set, no requests.
Tatanong ko sana kung how you deal with people who make requests.
Yeah, meron dun sa Today's Future or Futurist doon. Fuck your requests. Kasi, like, respect the set, respect the night. So, kung gusto niyo na request, kayo sa ibang Pero pag sa DJ set, like, respect talaga. Kasi, kanya-kanya.
Pero nakakainis naman talaga ng mga nagre-request, di ba? Kasi nasisira yung flow.
The worst that I had before sa isang bar, parang sabi nila, oy, bumili kami ng isang bottle, tsaka marami kami in order. So like, dapat i-play mo yung song namin. Tapos ako parang, I don't care kung like, bumili ka ng isang box or whatever.
Anong song to? Anong song nini-request sa'yo?
I forgot.
Ano yung pinapaplay?
Some
BTS.
Parang, kasi talaga sabi ko no. Kasi hindi pa yun yung
buti nga, mabait ka pa nga eh. Hindi ka yung type na talagang sobrang discriminating sa medyo pa nga eh, very diplomatic pa yung the way you said
because we work in government.
Yes. yung time namin yung there was a time in the early 2000 talagang away talaga rock tsaka hip hop. 'Di ba? Pag hip hop ka talagang yuck, hip hop. Or
I think sometimes talagang may themes na lang sila per nights kasi to cater din to different types of music. Pero not that night. So okay din siguro yung yun.
That's nice. Sorry, syempre, sobrang stark contrast. The reason why you're a very interesting guest for tonight kasi yung paminsan ang hirap imagine yung laki ng difference kasi from your lifestyle working in a club or a bar. And then now you're working for government, which is a totally different ball game, diba? Diba? May ibang hat yung suot mo dyan, at saka yung ibang side ng personality mo ang lalabas talaga dyan. But like you said, the reason why you entered government is because you really want to serve or change government from within. How's that going so far, Ms. Pam?
Pam, can you just, for the purpose of everybody else who hasn't Googled your LinkedIn, checked your profile, can you tell us what it is that you do for the government? Unless it's top secret.
No, man. Do I say my designation, sir? Parang weird.
Sige, okay lang.
I work for the DILG, and I work for the constitutional reform. So we're pushing for the reforms in the 1987 Constitution. So we're lobbying for the different amendments. So marami kasing yung sa Constitution natin. So one of it would be, do I discuss it now? But
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Tropa pala ni Sec Gary to, at saka ni Vice Gov.
Favorite yan nila Sec Gary, si Miss Pam.
Talaga? Thank you.
Talagang natutuwa yan si Sec Gary pag nasa Zoom meetings, wala, hindi lalabas yung kanyang mukha sa Zoom meeting, naka-close yung kanyang video. Pero pag nandiyan si Miss Pam na nagsasalita, okay na si Sec Gary, Miss Pam, anong balita? Favorite student.
Sec. So yun, that's what I do for the government. So, but then my passion is still kasi I come from documentary film and then music. So it's not something naman na parang I had to leave just because I work in government. Pwede siya. So for people asking if kaya siya or meron bang bad implications, wala. You go with it. I mean, follow your passion. But if you think you have to push for reforms, work for the government. You can do both. Yun.
Miss Pam, tell them about
yes.
Miss Pam, tell them about the time that you almost wanted to give up. Tarang hirap na hirap ka na dahil what was that? What's going on in your mind?
She couldn't work with you anymore, Ron. She couldn't handle you, Ron.
Sabi niya, problem.
Diba? As in, Mikel, talagang tinry namin i-convince na-convince naman namin. But we were the ones who told Miss Pam, no, you're needed here. You're doing a good job.
Kasi siguro, kasi diba pag, if you're an idealist, sometimes, or tapos millennial ka pa, sorry sa millennials, pero sometimes kasi you want change to happen instantly. Parang where is it going now? And then I don't see changes. Parang ganyan. What I learned over time is, these things take a lot of time to happen. Kasi you're battling institutions that have already been there. I mean, we're talking, for me, what I'm fighting for in my advocacy is, it's the 1987 Constitution. So it's been there for older than me. So I can't expect things to happen even in a year or so. So that's why before I was saying na parang wala namang parang hirap, parang daming politika, ganyan. But yun nga thank you for convincing me. Pero parang nung time na yun, parang I was frustrated because mabagal yung process. So, but then yun nga, I learned over time na it takes time. It takes a lot of time. It won't take one administration to do it, So it will. So kailangan talaga if you work in government and you're paano ba say, how do you say this? Are you committed to your advocacy? You have to have that that courage and that what
determination.
It's a marathon, diba? What people say, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. So you have to You have to expect that.
But the frustration for like people like me from the outside, is very vocal, and I really, really want change. No, and I can see from your end, like you said, you go there idealistic and you want to make some changes. But then, let's say it doesn't happen in the term of this particular president that you're working for, and then somebody else comes in completely and just makes it basura. Parang that's the worry that a lot of people have, because you see the momentum, you see the change. And then a completely different administration comes in with a different set of priorities. And, for me, this is where like politics and the system falls or fails also, you can't really have a term longer than 6 years, but, it's everybody else underneath you na medyo gulo. Kahit, di ba, mayor, 3 years lang. So, nga sabi nila, kailangan yung ROI nila mas mabilis. So, yun ang idol ko, guys. Wait lang. I need to slow. Whoa, it's my... Hi, Eric.
Si Eric the man na pala to. Eric, Pam, Eric,
Ron.
Eric,
Hi.
Pam. Yeah.
So Pam, like, ganyan na.
Kamusta na napag-uso?
And pinag-usapan ni Pam ang kanyang entrance into politics and how she almost left and now is back because of Ron.
In a nutshell. So,
Okay.
so yeah, actually that's very understandable, no? That's why nga during that time din nagmamadali rin yung feeling na nagmamadali ka rin kasi you also know that and yun nga the pressure from outside na your friends telling you, will that really be possible, ang daming may ayaw and all. So yung kaya nga what we're building here is really una talagang the urgency to build up the urgency that we have to change it within this administration. But even if it doesn't happen, that's why it's a move. We call it a movement and an advocacy. Kasi even if it happens, this type of movement and the people we gather here as supporters have to continue the movement and the advocacy. Kasi yun nga we have to keep fighting for it if we believe na it should happen. So dun yung sa amin. So as much as possible, we're doing it within this administration. But we're also building the movement for people to continue it, even if it ends or if other people na mapolitika siya, if that's the term. So, and that's a good thing about it kasi we go around the regions before COVID happened, we had road shows in lahat ng provinces halos napuntahan namin, around 60, kasi 81 provinces in the Philippines, around 60 plus napuntahan namin. Kung hindi na COVID, baka natuloy pa namin. But we don't know. Pero that time, pag umikot ka sa Pilipinas, other than NCR, they like it. They want it. Kasi, sila naka-experience na ang bagal ng dating ng services sa kanila, mga walang budget, ang baba ng budget. I mean, these kinds of problems are not felt in NCR kasi ito yung epicenter of businesses and all. Pero sa probinsya, pumunta ka doon, gusto nila. And if you explain it to them, gusto nila. Kasi, and that's where we get our support. So sa NCR kasi mahirap Like even me, my friends, they're very, di nila sure kung okay yan, kung ganito yung magandang reform for the country. And kasi dito, pinopolitika siya yung narinig natin sa NCR, pinopolitika, ginagamit lang yan para mag-extend yung term, blah, 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 which is not true. It's not even part of the provisions that we're fighting for. Pero pag nasa probinsya ka, gusto mo lang ma-improve yung systems doon. Yun. Doon yung support namin.
Well, Ron will tell you this, no? Like, because me, I live here and I run businesses here, but even us, it wasn't on our radar. Like constitutional reform, it's only until like Sec Gary was here and Vice Gov that I learned so much more about it. And I became like even more passionate about making this happen. My fear lang is that I don't know if there's enough time to do it. I really hope there is. But then, like I told Ron, is I talked to my friends or even lawyers about this and say, ganyan. And even they had a misconception about the constitutional reform. Even like the thing about the land ownership. Remember, Ron, I told you? So there's just so many people who are actually smart enough to understand it. It's just that they don't have the right information and it's not even on their radar. Lumalabas lang siya recently because nga they said wrong timing, it's COVID, why are you doing that survey, diba? Which is stupid. But, that's only the time that people start thinking about it. Because everybody just thinks of it as cha-cha. That's it, diba? Hindi naman siya constitutional reform, which is what Sec Gary and Vice Gov explained so eloquently and very well that last time. Na people like idiots like me could understand it, diba? Na talagang we're willing to champion it. But yun lang, it's just you guys are up against, I'm glad that you guys are doing your provincial roadshows and getting the people to buy into it there. Like I told Ron and then before, parang I think hopefully because of COVID and all the issues with the ayudas and all sorts of stuff, this actually might help you because it was pointed out that the failures in the system could have been corrected had we had this constitutional reform already. So hopefully that will go for you guys, because I personally, having heard much more about it, I believe in it.
Thank you. But yeah, I know that's a job. Siguro yun na lang. Parang that's why we're here, kasi that's our job, to push for this for the reforms, and to educate a lot more people, especially people in NCR, to really understand this. Kasi marami talaga, we're up against din kasi yung chacha from the other administrations. Kasi meron din mga sinulong yan ng mga reforms for the Constitution before for different administrations. So we understand then why there's a lot of misconceptions now, because nga of the other pa na mga provisions na gusto before. So ngayon kasi ibang-iba na siya in terms of like empowering the regions na talaga, what kind of bills and provisions we're really fighting for. Na-clarify na siguro ni Sec Gary and ni Gov Vince before. So yun. That's what our challenge is in the communication side. No, Sir Ron?
Yeah.
Explain it to the people and to get them to fight for this as well. So yun, tama, we realize that that's really the problem, pero that's why we're here and you have to keep going.
Yeah, one thing you can appreciate about Pam, kasi she's been a fierce advocate for constitutional reform. You can tell by how hard she works every day. She gets off work. She's the only person who reports for work every day. There's like 2 shifts. Tama ba, Miss Pam? There are 2 shifts that kasi ngayon, di ba, meron na tayong social distancing. So dalawang batches na yan pumupunta sa office. Si Miss Pam na yung constant doon. So hindi siya, every week na doon siya sa opisina. And one thing you'll appreciate.
It's also my job. Kasi nga.
I know you are. But syempre, there's a reason for that. And one thing that people will appreciate, lalo na yung mga yung kanyang people who are within her age range or kanyang mga contemporaries, is Miss Pam is in the position of power. So siya yung she's leading a whole team for the constitutional reform campaign. So that's something na you can appreciate, lalo na yung mga kids ngayon watching. Oh, yeah, si Miss Pam, DJ, but now she's leading a very important campaign for the government. And that is, tell you what, if this works out, if constitutional reform happens within this administration, that's going to be historical. And Miss Pam will be, one of the main actors in this movement.
Trying to sleep. Siguro kasi in CFCR, also shout out to the CFCR watching. Thank you for always supporting. We're a group of yung mga staff, we're all young. The youngest that we have is 21 years old. I'm already one of the oldest, and I'm 27. Yeah, we're a very young.
Di tayo pwede dito rin.
Kaya kaya maraming idealist din sa amin. Kasi yun, and I just also want to be an example to the staff din. Kasi if they see naman kasi that someone there is constant and someone there is, kasi maraming ang consti reform, as I said earlier, maraming babatikos dyan. Maraming opposition, maraming mga away, and I always have to keep assuring them na we just keep on track. Kasi mabilis din panghinaan ng loob minsan. Kasi kahit ako imagine me, I'm in a community or I'm in a group na very young and maraming against this. Lalo na nung lumabas yung article before from, that newspaper. So, yun pa lang nakita ko na parang, dami pa na talagang may
Inquirer ba ito? Inquirer?
Yeah, as in my newspaper was flooded with that. Tapos parang doon ko na-realize na parang if mauuna akong panghinaan ng loob, mauuna ako na makita ng staff na wala ako doon sa office. 'Di ba? Mahirap na. So I have to be there talaga. And to keep assuring them that we're in this fight, we're in this together until the very end. Pray for us.
Ayos. Pero, Miss Pam, Eric, you might want to ask her about that article sa Inquirer. Kasi si Eric also, he's very familiar with how certain broadsheets or certain media companies portray the government. So usually they use the negative angle for every story that they find about government. Eric, have you read about that? Yung gusto niyo nag-sushi? Okay, Rick, have you read about the complaint daw na the DILG is focusing on Chacha instead of COVID-19?
That's a very juvenile accusation, no? Given that we are in the DIL has and core, I think it's a project, right? It's 2 years old already, as per
It's kind of choppy.
and for
Rick, medyo choppy yata, Rick.
it needs to be done because me being from the province also.
Nasa Cavite kasi yan.
I'll come back. Okay, I'll come back.
Okay, sige, Rick.
Nasa Cavite.
Chubby si Eric, chubby.
Chubby. But touching upon it, well, that we all saw it naman, no, the thing on the focusing on the why is it now and all this. But I think it was clarified fairly well that it's just really an online survey that doesn't pick up. And then you can spin it either way. But then the other counter argument was, how come we're so ready and willing to talk about other matters like ABS, CBN, and whatnot, which you could argue is not as urgent. And also, I'm pretty sure that some people who would be complaining about you doing it now would be the same people who complain why you didn't do it when there was all this time. So it's just, Ron, there was that thing with Duterte, it applies to most leaders. It's really damned if you do, damned if you don't. So you just have to you have to do what you think is right. Because there will be people who will not be happy and there will be people who will be happy. But at the end of the day, if you think what you're doing is the right thing, then go for it.
Yeah, that's why nga, parang, grabe kasi na lumabas. Parang kami, saan nangyari to? Kasi, I don't know if it was clarified before, pero lahat ng staff namin na reassign to all COVID response na even me, lahat yung mga meron kaming staff na pumunta sa Emergency Operations Center, nag-report for that. We really paused our operations for this. I mean, pero kasi hindi naman pwedeng parang tatanggalin namin lahat ng posts namin sa Facebook, tapos tatanggalin namin yung website namin just because So it's just there. But whenever parang hindi kami actively pursue for it because frontline agency ang DILG in terms of COVID response. So lahat talaga ng staff nilagay to COVID. Even until now, we're still doing some work for COVID because nga we understand the situation. So ang sakit lang nung parang lumabas noon and then angled pa siya in that way. Tapos mali-mali pa yung provisions that they put there. Like, nilagay pa, siningit pa doon na parang pati daw land ownership, it's 100%. Like, did you even read our website? Did you even read our, wala kaming nilagay doon na kasi we have foreign ownership. We want to open up the economy for foreign direct investments. Pero ang leave out namin doon is land because we understand that land has to be Filipino-owned. 100%. So parang ay nako, magbasa muna bago mag-report ng ganyan. Kasi
Pam, unfortunately, you're asking people to do too much. Reading more than 3 sentences is just too much work, okay?
But it came from a distinguished, paper.
Paper, correct.
Level of, I don't know. I don't want to.
Sometimes you don't want to be cynical, but they don't give you reasons not to be because of what they do, what they're doing. Like, diba, how can you report something that you didn't really research on, right? I mean, if you research carefully about the subject matter and then really truly wanted to find out what's happening with the DILG campaign on constitutional reform, they would have found out that everything was stopped. diba? All of the staff from the CFCR are focused on the COVID-19 crisis. And yung what they uncovered about these the signature campaign, that's already residual, diba? That's been happening already even before COVID-19. So, we have CSOs, we have civic society organizations, civil society organizations have been helping the DILG collect those signatures. So even if we didn't really tell them to stop, but they continue to do their jobs because that's part of their mandate.
To explain, kasi these CSOs, civil society organizations, even before merong core, this whole movement, nandiyan na sila. Especially during the time nung 2016 when President Duterte came into power, marami na dyan pushing for constitutional reform. Because that was the campaign of President Duterte before. So marami na talaga dyan nag-start na even before nandito ako. Like even nandiyan pa yung mga ibang. So I understand why during that time, na they still wanted to push for it. Na parang lang naman, wala namang they didn't have to go, bahay-bahay nag-ask ng signature.
Yeah.
Online lang kasi but they felt na we can still do it. Nasa bahay lang naman kami, we can do it naman. So why not? So we didn't stop them. Pero hindi na kami yun. Parang it was them na as a separate organization doing it. So,
but one can argue that actually by them doing that now, if it's just an online survey, it's actually a good time for it because people have time at home to understand and to do their own whatever it is research on it. Whereas normally you're so busy, you don't really care, you don't have time to read anything. Now we've had all the time in the world. If it's really just an online survey or what it was, an informational thing, then I would feel that that's the best time to do it. You're not asking people to go out, and start exposing themselves to COVID for the sake of constitutional reform.
Yeah, or read on it, or research on it, or ask us what you don't know about it, and we can have a webinar for you. I mean, yung mga ganon. Kasi here's the thing, that's very weird to me. Parang, a lot of people saying, we found out through COVID that there are a lot of institutions that are not working, or parang ang daming problems with government na now it's in public because we see na ang bagal pala ng ganito, maraming bureaucratic whatever, etc., or maraming wala palang budget sa provinces, hindi mabilis yung pagbigay ng services because it all comes from the national. So alam niyo, if we're talking about new normal, and if we're talking about what reforms we want for the new era, so-called, that we're gonna face after COVID, the new normal. Like, what are these reforms? And then we're gonna say we're afraid to talk about it now. So how are we gonna prepare for the new normal? And what reforms that you want to have or change that we have to talk about right now, if we're gonna be afraid to also talk about it? Given, of course, that the priority would still be COVID. Diba? It's hindi naman pwedeng parang lahat yun dun lang. I don't know.
Tsaka rin, I mean, ang PNP ba dapat tumigil na sila sa paghuli ng mga drug addict, mga drug pushers at mga drug addict, porket sila kasama sila sa operations ng COVID-19, sila nag-check ng checkpoint, sila nasa checkpoints. So ibig sabihin titigilan nila yung mga operations nila on criminals. Rick, welcome back, bro.
Welcome back.
I know, thank you. Can you hear me better?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay naman.
Yes.
You're good.
You're good. Yeah, so I tried a different setup kasi kanina and it didn't work, obviously. So, pero yeah, I mean, for the short time that I heard Pam talking, and good evening pala, Pam.
Hi.
I think it's really unfair for people to judge the projects of the government, especially itong constitutional reform. I also parang empathize with you na ang daming takot sa constitutional reform because of the term cha-cha and what happened before, no? Tapos there's always this talk na gusto lang talaga ni Duterte na ma-extend yung term niya. And that's why constitutional reform is being done and stuff like that. Labo. So, I mean, kung ganun, is it like, for example, for that type of argument na term extension ng president, is there anything in the constitutional reform that says that?
No.
Alam mo?
No. Actually, kasi,
So,
diba, Sir Rob, baka i-explain, kasi even before di ba para siya na nagsabi na pag na-push
Sa
na yan.
yung commission na finorm for this, 'di ba? Merong constitution yung CONCOM na tinatawag, headed by Justice Puno.
Right.
Tapos gumawa sila ng draft na tinatawag nila yung bayanihan draft. Tama, Miss Pam?
Yes.
Right? So, nandoon sa provision ng bayanihan draft, yung original form, is yung transitional government. Part of the transitional government is si President Duterte daw will become the transitional president until we change into a federal form of government. So, ibig sabihin, ma-extend yung term niya from 6 years to kasi yung federal transition will take a year or 2 pa eh. So, siya pa rin ang magiging presidente. Alam mo, sinabi niya, tanggalin niyo yan. Ayoko niyan, tanggalin niyo yan.
There you go.
Well,
so that answers your question.
Ron, I can't remember if it was Sec Gary or Vice Gov, but one thing they pointed out is the difference between Duterte and the other presidents is he asked for this prior to becoming president. So, he was campaigning for this. It's not a surprise. I'm here now. I want to extend. There's no threat now. I'm here now. I want to be here forever. Because he always says he's so old and sick, doesn't want to do this for a long time. No? But I think that was an important distinction they put out there. He's one of the first who said, I want to do this even before I'm in power.
Yeah, so talagang walang, we won't. So, to clear it, we're not doing it as puppets here para lang ma-extend yung term. We're really fighting for something genuine. So, yun.
Miss Pam, go, Eric.
It's really more for equality, di ba? Of all the places here, all the cities, all the provinces in the Philippines. And that's what the constitutional reform is trying to achieve, di ba? Kasi,
good thing you mentioned that, Eric, kasi ang tawag actually dun sa mga provisions for constitutional reform are equality provisions.
Yeah.
Because that's the main purpose of that.
Yeah. So, for me talaga, I support this type of constitutional reform. Whatever you want to call it, no? The formal name is CORE. Pero para sa akin kasi kahit anong tawag mo dyan, as long as it gives equal footing for the rest the provinces, not just centralized in NCR, I'm fine with that. Kasi, I mean, it's also going to support the Balik Provincia program of this government as well, di ba? Kasi kung walang pera yung provinces, tapos papauwi mo yung mga tao, anong gagawin nila doon, di ba? Babalik lang din sila dito.
Kaya sa amin, yun nga, Eric, thank you for saying that. Kasi ang sa amin naman, it's more of angat probinsya. Kasi we understand din babalik sila, pero it's the same state. Parang, that's why they left in the first place. Kasi hindi nga okay eh. Kaya either pupuntang NCR or mag-iibang bansa. So what we're trying to do here is more for the long-term reform. So yun nga, parang more investments coming in, making sure na mas malaki yung budget ng mga LGUs natin, hindi na ko-concentrate sa national government. So yung ibababa natin lahat sa regions, empowering them more. And of course, making them more, kaya nga part din, kasi it's a whole package sa Consti reform. Kasi we're giving them more budget. We're giving yung sa IRA, that's the IRA distribution. We're empowering their regional development councils, that's what we call them. So parang yung sa kanila na, if they can decide sa regions nila, hindi yung parang kasi ngayon nangyayari, may gusto kaming project, tatanungin pa na sa national, i-approve pa, hintayin pa makabalik. It's too long. So minsan tapos na yung term, hindi pa natatapos yung project. So we want them to decide on their own. Kasi nga, mag-increase na rin naman yung budget eh. Bakit hindi natin bigay na rin yung decision power sa kanila? So that's the second one. And then the economic part, I think Secretary explained na rin naman before, making more investments to the country in different parts of the country. But also, the second pillar that we're also fighting for is for the political change. Anti-dynasty, anti-balimbing. Those are the main two. Kasi if we're just gonna keep empowering them, we're gonna open up a lot of things, sige, aangat sila, but the political system stays the same, ganun din eh. We're still gonna go back to square one. Parang mahihirapan pa rin. Most of our corruption might still be the enemy. And parang it's gonna be hard. So I really hope that people read what we're fighting for. Hindi lang yung parang pag narinig yung ganito, it's politika na. Para magbasa rin tayo. Kasi sayang eh.
Leverage nila eh.
Ayaw ba na anti-parinig? Ayaw nyo ba ng anti-dynasty?
But unfortunately kasi,
kayo si Pam, baka
but we live kasi in a society
Kasi-
now, Pam, that I don't know if you'll agree with this, but I'm dealing with this daily now because I'm very vocal on my social media about support for certain things that the government wants to do. But I've come to the conclusion now that there's nothing we can say or do to make people realize or support something if they're just if kuwari lang you're anti-Duterte, there's so much mistrust, I don't like it, I didn't vote for him. Anything they do, even if it's beneficial for me if I read it, it's just I cannot support it. I cannot be seen as supporting it. And that's for me is what is scaring me more than ever. Because some things, like there's a law that's passed or something that happens and that we should all be grateful for, like universal health care or one of these things. The mere fact that almost everybody was fed during this almost 3-month lockdown. Instead of saying, good job, I can get behind that. It's just, no, I cannot be seen as supporting this thing because it's either if I'm supporting this particular thing, then I could be supporting human rights violations, death to drug dealers, all that like that.
Yeah.
Parang yun yung kalaban natin yan. And it's not just here, it's also in the States and in other places. Wala na yung middle. It's like I'm here on this side or on this side. I cannot support. No? So parang kuwari may kaibigan kayo magkaaway. Hindi ka na pwede doon sa it's one side or the other. It's like that's what worries me. You could present it in such a way that it will show the person na, hey, if we do this, it will benefit you, everybody, and they're like, nah, can't support that. Bye. And then the other just bitch about it on Facebook all day without even reading it. But if you took the time to read it, then you'll see that there's actually a lot. I mean, people keep clamoring for change, diba? We need change. We need political change. Ganyan. We're so sick of this status quo. Here you are. Here's the change. We're handing it to you on a plate. We've worked hard on it. We've taken out all the shit that you don't want from it. And they're like, nah, I don't want it either. Parang it's like, Jesus, ano ba talaga gusto natin?
Yeah. Alam mo, the only reason why they're not... the only reason why they're not doing that is exactly what Michael said. No, they don't want to be seen to be supporting Duterte or this administration in particular. Kaya kahit maganda yan, kahit yung kunwari, yung build programs ng administration na to, these are really good programs. Isipin mo yung Skyway, diretso na from south to north. Isipin mo na lang mga ganong klaseng projects, di ba? Tapos biglang...
Ano daw yun? Panoy-noy yung project na yun eh.
Ha? Yung
Panahon
NAIA-X.
pa Noy na yung project na yun.
Yung NAIA-X. Natin kay
Hindi daw
Noy
yan
yung NAIA-X.
si Digong yan. Hindi daw kay Digong yan.
No problem. No problem. Pero even so, sino ang nagpapatakbo ng mga projects niyan ngayon na sobrang bilis na pangyayari, di ba? Sino, di ba? It's this administration and they're really pushing hard. Tapos sasabihin, may magka-question na naman, ganyan. Yes, kunwari, ito sa COVID, itong performance ng Philippines against COVID. It's not perfect. Kung bigyan natin ng grade, sabihin natin B- or B. Ganun yung grade siguro ng average mo bibigay. There are a lot of people who would still question, I understand that we're doing so much, ganun, and people are asking me to read some doctors' posts on Facebook kanina. But if I ask you, are you content with what the government is doing? Parang you're now digging up ng parang kung ano bang pwede kong ilabas hinanakit about this government. Parang, di ba?
Buti sana,
bakit mo pa
kung gano'n lang,
Rick,
diba? Buti sana gano'n lang, Rick. Yung iba dyan, nagiging nagta-transform, bigla na lang, naging doktor, naging attorney, na lang, kaya nilang i-interpret.
Yun nga eh. Tapos
meron sila kaya opinion and everything. Tapos sila naging expert bigla.
Kunwari, mass testing, sasabihin nila,
diba, naging volcanologist pa sila dati.
Yeah. So, itong constitutional reform na to, I think one of the challenges talaga of this project is communication. I think proper communication would probably help a lot. Especially pag sinabi mong this is not for term extension ni Duterte. Hello, excuse me. And be blunt about it na, excuse me, it's not that. Maghanap na lang kayo ng ibang butas, wag yan kasi wala talaga yan dito. Something to that point, no? And for people who are constantly challenging constitutional reform, come up with a better idea. Ganun lang, wag lang yung puro batikos. For me kasi, I grew up kasi in a corporate world. Hindi kasi pwedeng puro ka lang reklamo at reklamo. Pag may napansin kang mali, you have to come up with your own type of solution. That can actually be better. Ganon. Hindi yung puro na lang reklamo. Di ba? So, for me, I think that's my message for people. Medyo nakakapikon na kasi. Sorry. Late na nga ako, pikon pa.
Yeah, naintindihan namin yan.
We're here for you, bro.
Yeah, Rick. Alam ko, bumiyahe si Eric na kahapon eh. Finally, nag-reunite na sila ng family niya. So, that's the good news.
Yeah, man.
Diba?
3 months.
So,
3 months.
Yung kanyang worries before going, message pa si Eric sa amin, nagtatanong, pwede bang itanong sa DILG kung pwedeng makalusot sa checkpoint papuntang Cavite para sunduin na aking pamilya. So, buti naman si Eric was able to get there and pick up his family and go back home without any problems.
Padampot ka sana namin, Eric eh. Papadampot ka sana. Papadampot sana ka. Pero hindi na tuloy. Busy daw yung mga. Busy daw yung mga police.
Busy daw yung mga police. Speaking of police and the group that's helping with the constitutional reform, our team is, most of them are listening right now and viewing the blog. All smiles and all praises kay Miss Pam, si DJ Pamela Carbs.
Nagpapa-shoutout sila.
Go.
Jumbo
Arthur,
from CFCR. Kala nyo di ko ba-mention
sino ba? Si Kyle, Arthur, si Prof. Eric. Si Prof. Eric.
Speaking of
ayun.
police and
Ayun. So,
Si
siguro
Bea, Miko.
comment lang ako dun sa kanina. So, siguro nga ganun talaga. I mean, I'm not gonna say no administration is perfect. Especially now, kasi napaka-polarizing ng views. Even right after, kaya I was saying kanina why I got into government. Kasi yun nga, nung pag-elect pa lang into power noong 2016, talagang you see how polarizing the opinions are. It's either yes, no. Wala nang parang, sige, pag-usapan natin or hanapin natin yung okay dito, tas hindi. It's become parang yes, no na talaga. Kung ayoko sa'yo. So I think I've learned to kind of segmentize the audience. Parang if I see na this person will really go on the hard negative, there's no point in convincing you for policy reform because you're never, ever gonna go into it. What I want, yung mga gusto namin kausapin, yung mga gusto namin at least man lang ma-educate about it, or the people who are at least medyo parang, I don't know, mas neutral in a way, lalo na pagdating sa concept. They just wanna know what it is, yung mga ganon. Yun ang gusto namin kausapin kasi yun yung may potential pa na makita yung benefits of it. Even if they won't agree with it, pero like ano yung benefits of it, at least they understand it. Kasi yung mga iba talagang medyo, I don't want to say I gave up on them, pero parang more of, okay, parang gano'n na lang ako, parang okay, parang that's your opinion, then that's you, but okay. Pero yung mga iba, sige, let's talk about it. Let's debate on it.
Did you ever try to talk about that with your friends, Pam? I mean, your contemporaries? And what was the reaction?
Yeah, that's where I'm coming from then. Parang some of them are really Then I don't, okay. Parang okay na, sige, parang we're still friends, pero parang okay na. I know your opinion on politics. I know your opinion on change. Medyo nalulungkot lang ako sometimes. Kasi parang, if I say na, but this is like reform talaga siya. Even if hindi si President Duterte magsulong na to. Kasi, like, you know me, I'm your friend, but I'm pushing for it. Pero parang no talaga eh. So parang okay. Pero I still have more of my friends who are more of what is it? Okay ba yan talaga? Anong implication niya to our economy, etc., etc. So at least yun, nakikita ko yung hope. Kasi doon ko mas nakikita yung mga tao na parang they're not here because of politics. There are still, millennials who are not here just for the politics. They're here to think about the long term. Na parang ano bang reforms talaga yung gusto natin for our country kapag tayo na yung parang medyo mas kaya mag-decide. Yun, mas nakikinig pa yung mga yun kasi they understand na it's not a 6-year thing. It's not just a Duterte thing. It's more of a Philippine thing. What's the reform that we can push for our country talaga in the long term? So that's the people na I want to talk to, na we want to educate more. So yun, nandun kami. So yung mga hindi na,
So,
hey guys,
Bahala na.
mayaw na lang tayo.
I-shoutout mo,
Kahit
i-shoutout mo.
siguro-
Sino ba yung mga yan?
Mayaw na lang tayo. Yung mga ano. Okay lang, kasi
tugs na lang, tugs.
nakaka-balance talaga for me ang ang passion ko. Kasi even if yung mga people na I disagree with and people na I know are hardline on it, pagdating sa dance floor, we dance, walang pakialamanan, we respect each other. So kung gusto niyo na ganun lang,
Diba?
it's okay.
So, Miss Pam, do we expect you, are we gonna expect you to have your own TikTok video about that?
No, I'm sorry. I am no TikTok.
Gusto mo i-communicate sa iyong contemporaries nga, di ba? Sa millennial generation na core is cool. So, magti-TikTok tayo niyan.
I think we can find other ways. It's not. I think kasi I would like to think that the millennials, although they are very entertained with TikTok, would still want more discussions than entertainment. Sana naman, because that's what we're, di ba? Marami kaming sinasabi na, bakit pag election, ang gusto lang palaging sumasayaw, ganito, tapos wala namang substance. Eto ngayon, if you want it, then we'll go for substance.
Pinapatamaan nyo kasi,
Marami.
Ha?
Ooh. Don't knock it at work.
Si Nikki Villanueva.
That's why, kaya nga, I mean, of
Nikki
course it
Villanueva,
works, kasi you'll be entertained. Pero like, if we want more substantive, kasi sabi ko nga, kaya kami jumbo hotdogs kami CFCR. Guys, nanonood kayo. So, kasi yung mga yan. Pero like, mas substantive. If you want to.
Dapat
Pero iba na lang karon.
Miss
Kasi yung
Pam.
question mo, napaka-direct sa akin eh. Kung gusto natin ng ganyong campaign, sila, sige, maghanap tayo ng mga sasayaw CFCR. Hindi ako.
Si Ron, pasayawin niyo si Ron.
Oo nga, mauna
Si
ka
Ron,
na.
magaling sumayaw yan.
Lead by example,
Galing
Ron.
footwork niyan.
Kaya pala.
Si Miss K Villanueva asking tinatanong what reform daw. Sorry, I just si Miss Pam, just in case you just tuned in or just viewed the blog, si Miss Pam is she's project manager of the CFCR today. What is the CFCR? It's the Center for Federalism and Constitutional Reform. And also, we have a campaign called para
Core.
sa masa ng mga kabataan.
Wala si Ron.
Chubby ka, chubby. Chubby ka, Ron.
Laglag natin. Sino ba network provider?
Delayed. Oh my gosh.
Sino nilaglag na natin yung kay Eric last time. Sino yung sa'yo?
Yun ba yung na-hack? Na anon?
Hindi, yung akin na-hack pero okay pa.
Let's go to the question of Ms. K. What reform now? So, how can you summarize that, Pam? What type of reforms are we looking at?
So this is the constitutional reform. So we're looking into the more long-term solutions and reforms for the country. So we can say na it's for the empowerment of the regions by giving them more budget kasi lahat nakafocus sa national. So we want as much as possible na ma-decentralize yung mga types of services like that, budget and then other services to their own regions. So pupunta lahat most ng mga resources sa mga regions. That's one. Developing the Regional Development Council. So that's the one na deciding for the regions what projects they can do. Kasi ngayon nangyayari lahat naka-concentrate sa national for permission to do things. But if we can devolve that and decentralize that to the regions better because nandun naman sila and they know what to do with their own regions. Of course, may coordination yan with the national, but at least the decision-making power is within the region. We also want the economic reforms. So as much as possible, we're opening up the economy to more foreign direct investments, but then again, we would like to remind na walang land ownership. So sa amin, we're still fighting for 100% land ownership for Filipinos. And then we want political change because as I said then earlier, all these empowerment and all these things could also not progress ng mas maganda if we don't have the political system na changed. So that means anti-dynasty, anti-balimbing, that means turncoatism. Kasi uso sa mga congressman natin ngayon, yung para mag-vote or
Kung sino malakas, diba?
Tapos biglang hindi na. So yung political parties basically ng Philippines to be strengthened and to really fight for platforms. Hindi lang tuwing election maghahanap ng malakas tapos doon lang sila. And then mag-change na naman every after. So dapat we solidify our political parties para we can also vote for people na we know because it comes from a political party na established. So things like that. So yun yung mga in sum, the reforms that we're fighting for in constitutional reform or core.
Thank you very much, Ms. Pam. Tsaka ano, di ba? I mean, at an average, parang ito lang yung narinig ko, no? At an average, a province produces, sabihin natin, 100 pesos. No? That 100 pesos, yun na na-produce sila. Tapos parang ang bumabalik lang daw sa kanila is mga 19, 20 pesos lang for them to spend in the region. The rest of it goes back to NCR or the national level. Parang,
kasi we give, kasi ang hatian yan, so we have the, diba, we collect the taxpayers money siya, basically. And then hatiin pa yan sa 60-40. So 60% national government, 40% LGUs. But we found out in the last few years, hindi naman last few years, basta how many years, hindi nila nakukuha yung full 40%. So yung supposedly na 40% pa, nababawasan pa yon. We found out mga nasa 17% lang or less.
There you go.
So just imagine what you can do with that. I mean, sobrang konti lang ng services. So kaya marami magtatanong bakit sa region namin wala man lang kaming magandang ospital, wala man lang kaming magandang barangay hall, wala man lang kaming wala kaming ambulansya. Kaya nga nung COVID dito talaga napansin na ang daming wala sa regions, na ang dami natin gustong gawin ng regions, 'di ba? Parang i-lockdown niyo 'yan, tapos bigyan niyo sila ng relief kapag kami gusto yung gantong niyo, ibigay niyo sa kanila. And we can't even do those things because we were not prepared. Because for the longest time, these regions, our LGUs, have not been given the proper budgeting or the proper. So that's what we're trying to reform. Kasi if you're asking, bakit hindi ba pwedeng mangyari yan through laws or some amendments to whatever? No, we can do that by the local government code, but it also takes a lot of time. And for us kasi, kapag dating sa LGUs, sa mga ganitong bagay, mas maganda na we constitutionalize it.
Because
para
it's the highest form of law in the country.
Exactly. So para, yun na siya. We're sure na parang nandun sa constitution na siya nakalagay. Hindi na siya ganun kadaling mabago. I mean, for us, it took us 30 plus years to change So kasi yun, maganda naman yun There's no naman to that. Of course, magkakaroon pa ng mga laws dyan after to Pero at least yun lang. It's the same thing with the economic Kasi the argument for the economic change is more of, bakit di na lang gawing laws or something? Pero kasi the thing is, restrictive na yung constitution to begin with. And mas maganda kasi na gawin is to open it up and then every time may Congress yung Congress can just amend it or make a law na lang saying na okay, this year parang feeling namin na masyadong nabigyan ng yung foreign ownership on this particular industry. Okay, let's make it just 30%. Ngayon kasi it's solid it's close to how many percent? 60? Parang ganon. So parang hindi So parang mas mahirap siyang gawin. So there has to be more freedom when it comes to to economic, and then let the Congress decide on by their wisdom kung ano yung pwede nilang i-change per year or per through laws. Hindi baliktad kasi sa atin ngayon Parang sobrang protective niya, hindi nila magawa ng laws ngayon. So ang daming industries na hindi na-open up because of that. So there.
Yeah.
I think.
Maganda rin yung sinabi mo kanina, Pam, na
I think the best way to
change, diba? Parang sorry, Rona. Parang tapusin ko lang. Parang, Pam mentioned kanina, parang, I thought people are looking for change and stuff like that. Ito na nga yung change na to Diba? And it's actually beneficial for everyone, not just people from the NCR. And which leads me to another question pala, Pam, no? Sorry if you're overshooting, but dito sa Constitutional Reform Project ninyo, yung program na to, I know that it will benefit the province. Is it gonna benefit NCR as well, the national?
Yeah, kasi yung definitely kasi parang the businesses are still here naman. It's really more of yung opening it up for choices. So kung like the business sector or the international or the foreign direct where we're gonna get the foreign direct investors are, we'll choose na NCR pa rin yung best for our businesses, then do so. But if they feel na parang okay kami sa bandang Cotabato, okay kami dito sa Mindanao, then at least they have their choices. Tapos also, the provinces have their choices din na parang ito yung mga gusto namin papasukin sa regions namin because we feel na ito yung industry na meron kami dito. May choice kami na pupuntahin sila dito. Unlike right now, what happens is, Metro Manila lang lahat. Kasi the business people also know na nandito yung, we're concentrated sa national. They also know our political system here na sobrang bagal ng services to the LGU. So they think na mag-i-invest ba ako in a region na parang hindi naman nandito lahat ng concentration of wealth from the government, ang bagal ng decisions, etc. So better na malapit na ako dun sa national government. Unlike if we decentralize a lot of things, more choices, and more decisions then they can do for their own regions or for the business sector din naman to decide din kung saan nila gusto mag-invest. So things like that. So I think na it's a question of pag business naman, I think basta kung saan yung magandang climate na, diba? I don't know, si Miguel, business.
The concern kasi of other people naman is also like, when you now kasi even the smaller provinces, they get their shares or whatever, the government chooses who gets what, no? But if let's say you come from a small provinces that doesn't really produce much, it's not as productive as the others, does that mean you're limited and you're stuck? You have nothing, you can't rely on the national government to give you anything? I guess that's one concern that some people have.
Exactly. Kasi, well, sometimes hindi naman totally wala. It's more of konti lang to respond to their needs. Minsan kasi ganun din and it's, yun yung mahirap na yun nga, as I said kanina, pinakita talaga ng COVID kung gaano ka
well, that's why I said kanina, I feel like, although COVID has been an absolutely awful thing, it's affected so many people and we will be dealing with it for a while, but I think it will give you guys some sort of sense of urgency in terms of convincing people because you've seen the weakness of the national government in dealing with a crisis like this. People in the provinces, have been, having a hard time or whatever, and you could sell it to them na, alam mo ba kung nangyari to tapos ganito na, wala tayong problema. So people will be more willing to be open to ideas, no? Kasi before, parang we're just so close because, this is how life is, nothing can happen. Whereas now, this thing happened that just shook the whole world, shook the country. Everybody's a bit more, okay, wait, maybe I need to start thinking about these things, no? Kasi it's just so scary to me how negative people are. I've had this discussion with Eric and Ron before, me appearing on this vlog, people immediately assume that I'm just a diehard Duterte fan, and that's it. All my other friends who are not Duterte fans will just think of me as some asshole. I'm an idiot for doing this. But as I explained in the show many times before, I'm not pro Duterte, pro Aquino, pro Yellow, whatever. I'm pro Philippines. I support any initiative that I think would benefit the country. Not me personally, although yes, great if it will benefit business or what, but we live in a country with so much inequality where the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. No matter what anybody says, that's just the truth. Diba? You say, I like to help the poor, whatever. No, the poor are still poorer than poor. They can't even afford basic things, and that's ridiculous. Yeah. We like to compare ourselves to other countries when it's convenient, but it's times like this we need to look and say, hey, these kinds of crises, and we really need to help each other. But it's just that everybody's so close-minded, so negative. So if the way I flip it is if let's say the other party said constitutional reform, they'd be like, yeah, great idea, fantastic, let's do it, let's make it happen. But because it's somebody else who said it, like, oh, no way, can't be. Like if the other party said anti-terrorism bill, nobody would question human rights. Yeah, whatever, let's do it. You know what I mean? It's just that we live in a society that's so close-minded, and but again, there's some justification for that. Because for years, decades, and for a long time now, they've been so mistrusting of government because of so many things that have happened, diba? Di lang naman sila nagising na sobrang skeptical and cynical, diba? Talagang ginago talaga sila ng all sorts of other governments and administrations in the past.
Yeah.
So when you've been burnt, you're a bit more, but it's luckily lang kasi we know people like Ron, other people in the government that we trust, that we believe are doing the right thing. Other people don't have that vantage point. Like Pam will have friends that see, oh, Pam's a great girl. She does, I believe what she says if she says she's doing this for the country. But other people don't know Pam. Other people don't know these other things. So yun yung mga chances. So Pam, what you have to do is make friends with everyone, is what I'm trying to say.
Di wala, no? Pero, alam mo, that puts a different perspective, no? When you told me that, na, these people kasi may not have talaga the direct line, eh. So they don't understand maybe how the internal things that goes on, na may mga magagandang bagay naman na happens.
The best thing is always, if you're explaining it, I've always been taught this in the corporate world, is to keep it simple. No? It's just and sell it to the guy in the way that it benefits him in particular. Because when you sell it to the average, Pinoy guy or farmer or whatever it is, you do all sorts of talking about political systems and whatever. Parang it's just all over their head. They're not interested. But if you sell it to them in a way, this is exactly how you, my friend, will benefit from this. Parang, game ako dyan, diba? But like you said kanina from your roadshows, Pam, is the rest of the country seems generally convinced, they're very receptive to the idea because they're the ones who need it the most, diba? Tayo dito sa NCR, chill lang tayo kasi dito lahat ng pera.
Yay!
But, diba? But I say to my friends, dami natin reklamo dito sa Pilipinas na sa Manila, traffic, dami-daming tao dito. Oh, this thing will move people to the provinces. People don't. Eric lives here. Eric's from Davao. Everybody else, you don't want to leave the place where you grew up in. Generally, it's just that you have to seek better opportunities elsewhere. But if you give that guy, the same opportunity in his hometown, why not? Diba? More often than not, people will choose that. We don't want to have a society where everybody's apart from their families and nabubuhay na tayo sa Palawan Express, Cebuana, Lulier, all of that, sending remittance every whatever, diba?
That's true. Kaya nga, it's, like Eric said din kanina, parang the campaign really, kailangan talaga communications. Siguro yun talaga. You really have to...
I think,
Just hire the guys from Rappler. Ang galing nila mag-communicate.
Hayop, diba? Yung 11,000, naging 11 million, diba?
Oh.
Parang yung nakikita mo sa...
But I think kasi with news, okay, my only defense of the news, okay, I think obviously it starts from the leadership. So they will say, this is the narrative, this is what we support. You have to find articles, we will only publish this. Because I doubt if you could work, let's say, for Rappler and come out with, you go to your boss, say, I have this brilliant article that makes Duterte look good. They'll be like, yeah, it's printed front page. Highly unlikely, right? But these are still corporate entities. But the other thing naman also is because information now is required so quickly, so fast. The deadlines for these guys to write their articles and their news or whatever it is so that I don't think they have enough time to properly fact check it. Don't get me wrong, a lot of times I think they intentionally put out the wrong information there. But minsan namamadali ka talaga eh. Kasi sabi ng boss ko, I'm not a journalist, but the simple thing, the thing that frustrated the crap out of me, like recently, is the Spanish guy in Dasma, diba? Because I woke up to the news that this poor Spanish guy was beaten up in his house, arrested, nothing, and Rappler had this whole thing, Maria Ressa, whatever. For me, as a journalist, the easiest and what you should always do is get the other side before you publish, diba? Ang cop-out kasi nila palagi dyan is we reached out and we never heard back. Yung mga ganyan. It's always, diba? Every time the article is so slanted towards somebody else, it's like, we tried to reach him for his opinion and he never got back. Whatever. Anong number tinext mo? Bigay ko sa'yo yung talagang number, diba? Pero yung gano'n, this is so simple. You can get the other side. It's like, if I went on the Facebook today and said, Eric is such a jerk, and ganyan, he's an asshole, which is not, by the way, he's a really nice guy. But you expect Eric to be given a chance to defend himself, right? But it's not this age, wala na. And the thing is, you print an article that has more than 3 paragraphs in it, pucha, wala na, nobody will read that. Headline lang.
Okay. Nakakatawa rin ngayon eh. Kasi branded ka na. For example, if you're pro Duterte, you're that's BOLERO. No, parang ganun.
Yeah,
And
parang may ganun na nga,
yun
no?
ang
Even
nakakalungkot
even
eh.
your Facebook feed, parang may branding ka na eh. Na ikaw kilala ka to speak
Yeah.
out ganyan. And you can't, parang minsan yung mga ganun narinig na, parang I can't go out of brand. Parang ano out of brand? Parang we're not I'm not corporate naman in myself. So pwede naman tayo mag-iba if we think. Siguro that's where it comes in. Yung what we're talking about kanina, Mikel and Eric, na yung parang yung people are so negative and that parang
Medyo petty nga eh.
they don't see the benefits of, baka kasi may gano'n na sila. It's out of brand. So
But you know what should really happen kasi really is if you support government or support the it doesn't mean that everything they do you have to blanket just say yeah, okay, that's a great idea. Let's say like this anti-terror bill which we're going to discuss next week. You have to read it. What I always ask people is educate yourself before you yap on Facebook and bitch and moan about something. At least study. Because if nagiinuman tayo dati, di ba, mag-debate tayo, you should at least know the shit that you're defending, right? You should at least have a semblance of the argument in your head as to, you have to have some facts. Parang, ngayon kasi parang, and then the thing is, the minute you disagree with somebody, you're an asshole. Like, what? When did this happen? Before naman, but we're still friends. But to be fair also, it's on both sides. Sometimes the Duterte side, if they know that you're a yellow supporter or whatever, parang immediately, ganun ka na.
Wow.
No, the thing is, it's the truth. We just live in a society that's either you're here or you're there. You're never normally here. If you're here, it's normally you just don't give a shit about politics at all. Diba? I know people who I talk to that just deactivated their whole Facebook because it's just so toxic. And I admire those guys. These are my idols. Like, how'd you do that? Because there's a side of me that says I should just ignore these people who post this nonsense. But there's the other part of me that says, I have a responsibility to correct things that are not true. Because it's like you're so frustrated. You saw an article this guy just shared that's complete bullshit. And it's so easy to show that it's bullshit, but they'll just share it. And parang, should I just sit here and say, tanga naman yan, diba? It's not going to affect anybody. But other people will see that and say, ganyan. It's such a scary time to live in. I don't for my kids, that's why I always tell them is, you just be open-minded. And if you're going to have an opinion on something, educate yourself on it. If you've educated yourself on it, then you have an opinion you think strongly about, then I'll fight for you. Then you go for it. But yung mahirap lang ngayon is they propose anti-terror. We're all gonna die. We can't say anything on Facebook. They're gonna murder us if we say anything about Facebook on Facebook. I was like, what? It's like it's just so frustrating. Anyway, naglabas na ako ng sama ng loob ko.
Yeah,
but I get your
with social. Sorry.
Sirain na kasi Facebook.
How's my audio? Okay ba yung aking ano? I'm still
we can hear you now, but the image is not so. But your beautiful voice is coming out loud and clear.
Oh man, kasi I missed out on the conversation already. I sort of like felt na yung part about it being toxic already on social media that applies to ano rin eh. Actually applies to everyone. I have like really close friends, best friends, as a matter of fact, that they've really transformed. They changed over the years. They used to be like fun-loving. They used to be like, they couldn't care less about what's going on with government. All of a sudden, they became like, I don't know, bigla sila naging zealot on everything that is government. Anything that's anti-government, they would spew all this nonsense on social media. They even unfriended me. Kahit na best friends ko to mga to.
Yeah.
In-unfollow ako sa Facebook. Ang weird nga kasi naasar daw sila sa mga sinasabi ko. Tapos when you talk, you engage them, and then then you sort of like correct some of the stuff that they say with facts. Wala, maasar lang lalo sa'yo, and then they feel offended pa. That di ba? So, yun yung ating yung dilemma natin.
Ganon din yung yan yung problema ko. So this is what I was about to say also about social media. And there are people out there who are encouraging other people to unfollow and unfriend people who do not have their parang hindi pareha sa sa opinions mo. So what does that do you? Parang you're just putting yourself in a smaller box, right?
Di, alam mo, Dick,
Unfriend ka
alam mo yung
na.
sinasabi mo, I think the thing that we've been discussing right now about people who convey their views vehemently on social media, talagang with a passion talaga, they hate this administration, dahil pa nila
Yeah.
sinasabi, mga invectives against the president, mga kabastusan na sinasabi nila against the president. But there are also the same people complaining about the closure of ABS-CBN and this government, uh, definitely violating their rights of free speech. Eh sila naman yung dadaldal, hindi naman sila nakukulong. 'Di ba?
But,
Hindi
but
naman
that's
Kaya nga.
hindi ba?
but that's their fear now, though. I mean, alam ko sa Monday pa itong pag-usapan natin si anti-terror. But the genuine fear that people have is that they're no longer going to be able to say what they want on Facebook. But I get the fears, I get the concerns. But the way I look at it is, let's say Duterte has 2 years left, or a few
Yeah, 2
years left.
years.
2 years.
I mean,
2 years. Yeah, 2 years.
What good is it gonna do him now if he shuts you up on Facebook? You've been yapping about him for 4 years on it, and you've
Yeah.
been able to live. Everybody's been able to protest, rally, say the meanest things on Facebook. They're all still there. It's just what benefit would it be doing now? I get there are concerns about the bill which could be worked on, but here I have yung pinadala ko sa inyo kanina sa group run is Simon Pualuping, but I think he works with the PC.
Yeah, he's the assistant secretary for the PCOO. He's Miss Pam's favorite guy sa PCOO.
Ay.
Right, Miss Pam?
si
Totoo ba yan?
Simon. But see,
Si Asik Mon.
he wrote this, which I found very good. It says everybody say junk the anti-terrorism bill, junk, diba? Sabi ko nga junk yung Meralco bill, diba, Eric? Okay yun, diba?
No, yes.
But he said, why junk? Why propose policy alternatives? Be a real activist. Do not junk. Improve.
Yeah.
Be progressive. Terrorism is real. Don't wait for the day it happens again in the Philippines. So he has a valid point. So instead of just right away saying this is a horrible bill, this is whatever, shoot it down. Find ways to work with it and make suggestions. I know it might be late in the day to do that, but for other matters, it's instead of just saying no, okay, if you think there's a better way to do it, tell us. Work with us.
Yeah.
There's people like Pam
Actually,
and Ron here who can work wonders with your suggestions. But just tell us how to improve.
Kaya nga, the funny thing is, I have people who are very critical of the government, but they have me as a resource. Like, they can always ask me anytime, Ron, totoo ba to? I mean, is he really like that? We have first-hand experience of working for government, so we know how things are. Why would we lie about anything like that if you see us espousing or even promoting good governance the whole time? Diba? And you can see in the body of work. See, like Kay here, the anti-government do not have the time to listen because they're too arrogant to admit Duterte's admin is the best that we had so far. He's incomparable sa totoo lang. I can't even take that some liken him to Marcos. Very far-fetched kasi Marcos had his cronies. Duterte sacks his men. Trump has no empathy. Duterte loves the Filipino people. So, and I'm happy, and she says, I'm happy to see you guys, a group of people who are medyo close to my age, who aren't toxic. Haha, you see the efforts of this administration. You do not just make criticisms which are close to nonsensical, showing how much you hate Duterte. Thank you, Kay,
So,
for
may
the
tanong ako
comments.
kay Kay. May tanong ako kay Miss Kay. Anong age group? Age group namin o age group ni Pam?
Hindi naman daw malayo. In range.
Okay, parang
Nasa tayo? Kung baka nasa
Okay.
opposite spectrum, tayo.
medyo.
So si Miss Pam, I know you sometimes get discouraged by all the comments from different people about what's happening, but do you think, by any chance, eventually in the next 2 years, they will come around? Do you feel that some of your friends who don't approve of this government will have a change of heart?
Ang hirap. Yun nga, sabi ko nga kasi, parang I've learned to segmentize people in a way. Kasi meron nga talagang, ang wish ko lang, siguro that there's where I'm hopeful, no? Na parang there would be people, na then there will come a time na they will be willing to look the trajectory of Philippines na medyo later than President Duterte. na who would be willing to talk about reforms, not just because of Duterte, of what he's pushing for, but what are the genuine reforms we can push for the country in the long run. Kasi if we talk about that, and if we debate about it, we come up with the best kind of policies, best kinds of talks and discussions. That's where the youth can really benefit from. Yun nga kasi ang hirap talaga to work around the polarizing audience or the people we have now. Kasi yun nga, natatawa rin ako minsan when people say it's not on brand, you know. That's not my parang that's not my anthem in Facebook or whatever. Parang sana we'll be willing to be humble enough to say then na parang if it's the Philippines we're talking about, if it's the country and how we're gonna improve it, and if kahit sino pang nag-propose, kahit kaninong administration pa, let's talk about it. Let's just start with that. Siguro doon ako hopeful na parang people will be more willing to talk about some of the genuine reforms na we're pushing for, the administration is pushing for, especially for constitutional reform.
I'm sure it's been an eye-opener for you also, Miss Pam, no? Kasi we've gone around the country, and I think we share a very unique perspective of what's happening with the people from the provinces, from all these places in the country that people haven't gone to. Hindi sila yung mga dito yung mga tourist spots eh. Ito yung mga pinaka the poorest of the poor. Kung may poorest of the poor dito sa Metro Manila, we've seen the poorest of the poor in the provinces, which is much worse, di ba?
But some of them have the best beaches.
Oh yeah, they do. Correct.
Kasi nung nakapunta kami, parang, oh my God, like, ang ganda ng coastline. So,
yeah. What did you pick up from this experience, meeting all these people from all over the country? I'm sure this is something, very different for you from where you came from, and now you work for government, and now you actually had the chance to meet all these people and talk to them face to face.
Ang napansin ko lang siguro yung most stark is that yun nga parang people in the provinces are more open to discussions for change. I mean, hindi yung parang, kasi kay kay Duterte, kasi kay ganito ako. It's more of, ano bang benefit niyan sa akin? So how you said it kanina ba, how will it affect me directly? So kasi sila they understand when you tell them na parang, kapag medyo lumaki yung budget nyo, ito yung pwedeng mangyari, ganyan. When yun yung mas open sila to discussions like that, compared here in NCR na parang, yun nga, they think about sino nagpupush niyan. Politika ba yan or ganyan. So, sana yun. Siguro nga kasi wala nga tayong hinahabol na need dito sa Metro Manila. Parang everything is here. So, what else are we gonna look for than, talk about yung politics ang talaga of some issue. So, siguro yun, probably find something talaga from the youth na they are, yung parang buy-in nila or incentive to talk about other than Kasi talaga, I swear, sa ibang places, sobrang lakas na ng support for ibang people na
yeah,
for this. Or at least some, kasi diba, what we're doing kasi sa core amendments kasi siya. So we're not pushing parang isang buong constitution na parang, ito na yung 2000 something constitution. It's more of amendments to the constitution. So pwede kasing let's talk about ano yung mga gusto nyo and ayaw nyo. So for example, tell us na, ayaw talagang anti-dynasty gusto talaga namin yung i-push kasi ayaw na namin ng dynasties. Ayaw na namin ng mga balimbing because we want political parties, things like that. Yun yung mga pag-usapan natin, hindi yung parang yun nga.
Miss Pam, we have a good question here from Jojo Padilla, although critical, but still the same. It's still the same. It's it's something that needs to be answered. Why should us common folk be the ones to improve the bill? That's the legislator's job. Now, siguro Jojo, you should also understand how things work with government, especially Congress. Congress, they're very dependent on people before they move to actually even before they talk about a bill or talk about a particular advocacy, they're gonna wait for people to talk about it. And if it becomes your interest na for example, constitutional reform, and all of a sudden lahat ng mga tao bigla na lang naging interesado, at saka sasabihin nila, gusto namin yan. And then it will show in the surveys, it will come out in the media na lahat ng tao they want change now. They want to change the constitution because gusto nila magbago yung buhay nila. Gusto nila lahat ng mga resources na napupunta lang sa Metro Manila, Central Luzon, Calabarzon ay equitably ma-distribute sa regions. Pag bigla kayo nagsalita niyan, en masse, as in marami, na pag nag-survey ang SWS or ang what's the other survey group? Nakalimutan. Anyway, yung mga popular survey groups, diba, naglalabas yan sila ng mga survey about constitutional reform, about any issue. Kung bigla na lang naglabas yung mga ng SWS na, 70% of people want change, want constitutional reform. Sa tingin mo ba ang Kongreso
kung kailan yung clincher Ano yun?
Oo nga eh. Parang
Nawala. Nabitin.
cliffhanger.
Nabitin
Wait
ako.
for the next episode.
tingnan mo yung CBN, bakit nila pinapag-usapan? Diba? Bakit nila
Yeah.
But
Ako, sige.
yeah, go Pam. I think
I just like to add.
sinensor ako. Bakit tingin kongresista, tingin ng kongresista, kaya gusto ng mga tao na na i-tackle kasi maraming nanonood sa ABS-CBN. Kaya sila nagpapapogi. So yun talaga ang issue yan. If you bring up something to Congress that's very important to the people, then they will act on it. That is the reason you have a role as a citizen of this country.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yun. So yung i-add ko nga.
What you want.
Ang hirap.
go Pam, ikaw na.
Ayun. Hindi, kasi kay Jojo.
Miss Pam.
Jojo, may trabaho tayo dito kasi nga, Pilipino tayo. So lahat naman may say tayo kung ano gusto nating baguhin sa bansang Pilipinas, no? Pero pangalawa, ang mandate kasi ng Kongreso nanggagaling sa eleksyon, di ba? So ibig sabihin, kung ano yung kung ano yung na-represent niya, yun ang boto ng mga tao. So kaya sasabi ni Sir Ron kanina, kung ano yung sasabihin sa kanya ng mga nasasakupan niya na nare-represent niya, kaya nga tawag sa kanila representative. Hindi lang congressman, tawag sa kanila representative, House of Representatives, because they represent the people, supposedly. So kaya nga, kung may ayaw tayo or may gusto tayo na boto sa mga bills, may say tayo dyan. I think this is one of the things na the Philippines have to keep improving on. Kasi sa states and sa ibang countries, diba, pag may ayaw sila talagang they call their congressmen, they talk to their senators, and they tell them what they want. Ayoko yung bill na to, I hope you vote no. Meron silang sariling mga lobbying groups for that. So dito kasi sa Pilipinas, pwede natin siyang gawin. So that's trabaho din natin yun. Na tayo yung magsabi sa congressmen natin and senators na ito yung gusto namin. Kasi kami nagboto. We put you in power to represent us. Ito yung gusto namin. So that's why we want everyone to be educated. Hindi lang congressmen. We're also doing that, ha? We're also doing lobbying work sa congressmen.
Tsaka one of the things also that I would like to add is kung lahat na lang ang Congress or ang Senate ang magde-decide para sa atin, hindi rin tama yun. I think we have, as citizens, we have a say kung ano yung gusto natin mangyari. And if there's a big enough clamor, then the representatives, itong mga senator, mga congressman, they will act on it because the people has spoken. Parang ganun lang kasimple. Hindi naman pwede na sila lang yung gumagawa niya and everything. Siyempre, behind the scenes, may mga researchers sila, may tigsusulat sila, may mga gumagawa rin ng mga trabaho nila. Congressman na lang yung nagpa-finalize and siguro pipirma. That's it. Yun yung siguro trabaho nila. And I'm not from politics. That's basically how corporate people work. No? Yung mga big boss dyan. Siyempre, the big bosses are dependent on the people that are below them. No? Mga tao nila. Magagawa sila ng sarili nilang trabaho and it all boils down to the big boss. And the big boss will make that decision to that point. No? So meron tayong dito, may say tayo kung anong gusto natin mangyari sa Pilipinas. Hindi lang porque hindi tayo elected official, wala na tayong gagawin.
Yeah, and hindi lang sa Facebook.
Oh, sige, go ahead.
Tama.
Hit me
Mikel,
now,
you
hit
were-
me now. No, it's just with Jojo lang. I get where he's coming from. Like, let's say, for example, if he's referring to the anti-terrorism bill and whatnot, the argument could be that, if we leave it long to the legislators, it's all their problem or whatever it is, then why do we complain on Facebook? Why do we all come up with all of these things? If that's your attitude to it, then we just don't say anything na lang. Because if you think that your voice would not be heard anyway, then why bother? I get what you want to do. I totally understand you. I have many thoughts on certain bills too that I do. But like Pam said, like in the States, they have, a lot of the campaigns on Instagram, if there's something they're not happy with, they put a thing there, reach out to your congressman, ganyan yung address. Obviously, it's very hard for us to do that here, but like Ron and Eric pointed out, there's incentives for congressmen to listen to you if there's enough clamor for it. But obviously, all we are asking from my end is not just to complain. Yun lang sabi ko eh. Don't just leave it in the hands of the legislators. If that's your attitude, don't just complain. Come up with constructive ways to get around it, and see if we can improve it collectively. There's ways, there's a power to the people. The mandate is there. It's just that the options are, it's either tahimik na lang tayo, wala na tayong sasabihin kasi trabaho naman ng congressman yan. You know some of the congressmen out there. You've seen them. You've seen their qualifications and all that. But I really feel that, if you are going to come out and say something on Facebook or social media, that's cool. But be constructive about it. And then hopefully, if there's enough clamor for it, your congressman will see this and do something about it. We've seen it before. They've changed their mind because ilang tao nagalit. They don't want to appear as unpopular. Diba? Anyway,
just to give you an example, Mikel, no? A current issue, di ba? The anti-terrorism bill, which we will be talking about on Monday. Hopefully, Ms. Pam, we invited Sir Bobby to come on for that particular episode of si Sir Bobby Capco. We invited him on Monday to talk about the anti-terrorism bill. Kaso lang, may kita mo dito pa lang sa issue na to, this exemplifies what's going on, that how important the people's voice is to influence our lawmakers. Yung nagkaroon lang ng konting buzz sa social media about people complaining about the bill. Bigla na lang may mga kongresista na they will withdraw their support for the bill daw. Na weird, diba? I mean, to begin with, they supported the bill, they voted for it, and now they're going to take it back. What happened between then and now? Didn't they study the bill to be on the get-go for them to support it? Tapos bigla lang dahil meron nagrereklamo sa social media mga ilang tao, biglang hindi nila susuportahin yun. Pag binasa mo naman yung bill, if you really studied it, diba? Di malalaman mo na wala naman talagang meron mga mga security ang tawag nito, may mga clauses doon, may mga provisions doon to make sure that abuse won't be tolerated, or there are talagang safeguards that were placed in that bill. But that's a topic for a different night. We're going to talk about it next time. Kasi medyo contentious yun, I know. Yeah, but
pati ako, I want to learn more about it kasi there are two very contrasting views against that bill And ako, gusto ko lang talaga malaman kung ano ba talaga yung bill na yan. What's said in the bill, what it means, and what it's going to
Pero yun yung point ko, Rick. Bakit itong mga congressman na to nagpadala sa, they're not even 10% of the population or 5% of the population complaining about it, but still they get swayed by their opinion when they're supposed to be the ones who studied it carefully and approved it or actually gave their vote. Diba? Ang labo nila.
Before the LG, I came from Congress. Actually, that's my first.
Ayun, si Miss Pam, tell them about that, your experience in Congress.
So, yung kasi like sasabi ni Eric kanina, na sometimes nga, they have people who write up bills for them or mga ganon. So hindi ko talaga mag-guarantee na lahat yun. Binasa nila. I don't know, I can't, pero, I don't know. Hindi ko alam kung bakit bigla
baka headline lang.
Therein lies the problem.
Okay na yan.
Diba? Weird din yung
Yeah.
I don't.
Ganun siya.
Pero
I mean,
Miss
ako,
Pam,
I
that was
like
of the
na people
system,
are talking about it. Kasi, di ba, that's what we're fighting naman here, na parang people, pero sana it turns nga into action. Baka sana tinawagan, kaya nag-withdraw siguro kasi tinawagan sila ng mga nire-represent nila sa district nila. So sana ganun yung nangyari. Hindi lang because we think na hindi nila na-review. Sana parang may nangyaring ganun, na may democratic process talaga of people called them, na parang bakit ka bumoto ng ganito, you never, hindi mo naman sinabi sa amin na may ganito, mga ganon. Sana that's how it happens here. Yun.
Miss Pam, I want to segue to what you said, kasi this is kahit papaano, there's a correlation between what's happening with the anti-terrorism bill and what we're trying to do with constitutional reform. We're having trouble with constitutional reform, even though we've been, promoting it for the last 2 years because of exactly this problem. Congress won't act on it or won't even move or kick the ball towards a resolution to it because the people are not asking for it. So that's why constantly we're bombarding people with information about constitutional reform so that they will have added incentive, knowing that if they push for constitutional reform, it will change the system itself. And whatever problems that you have right now that you've been complaining about, that will be at least minimized because a system is in place that's better than the previous one. So yun ang pinupush namin. We have to do constitutional reform right now because that's the basic law of the land. And if we don't change that, nothing's going to happen at all because they'll always revert back to the old system which protects their interest. It protects them from changing things.
Sample na lang yan. Ayaw nila ng may anti-dynasty dun sa proposal namin. Ayaw nila ng may anti-balimbing. Because these things, ginagawa nila. So,
correct.
kung the people will be the ones assuming that they really want it, the people will tell us na gusto din namin kasi talaga yan. Which actually was told by, people from the other provinces na parang ang tagal na nung dynasty sa lugar nila and they feel na parang hindi naman sobrang nag-i-improve because kinukorrupt lang yung pera or whatnot. So, if people will speak for those and push their congressman to do that, yun yung sinasabi namin, we need a public clamor.
Yeah,
kasi otherwise, these congressmen will just keep on, marami silang rason for not pushing the anti-dynasty. Sobrang dami nilang reason out sa amin. So,
meron ako naalala. May naalala ako, yung parang may bill na pinas few years ago, yung about plunder, na dapat jailable or parang death penalty ata siya or something like that. Pucha, hindi lumusot sa congressman.
Asa ka pa.
Diba? Do you remember that?
Do you
remember that? Pucha. Yun. Isa pa yun. Alam mo yun? Plunder. Ibig sabihin, malaking kasalanan na ginawa ng isang elected official sa Pilipinas. Jailable dapat yan parang for life or something like that or death penalty. Kahit yun man lang, di ba? Ipasa nyo naman yan para just to ensure to give parang peace of mind to the citizens of the Philippines, di ba? Na itong mga to, they will not steal or plunder from the Philippines ever again because there's this law about that. Pero ginagawa nila, so wala. Hindi talaga pumasa.
This is something, Rick, from Roy Sequoia. Hey guys, this sounds different, but give it a try after your live. Ask someone from AS, Adventist International Institute of Advanced Studies, the movement of our government systems, both local and international. You could clearly have a bigger picture when we have a background of Bible prophecies in detail. Search for someone here at Adventist International Institute of Advanced Research and Studies. Okay.
That's an idea. Yeah, that's an idea. Right?
Oh, we lost Pam.
We can probably do that. Oo nga. Sinensor na siya.
Si Miss Pam, ano nangyari kay Miss Pam? Na-censor na yung ating guest. Yeah, but Mikel, no? So what do you think of Pam so far? Eric? So what's your big takeaway, Mikel, since we're already winding down?
Big takeaway. Well, Pam obviously seems like a better version of Ron, but we won't go into that.
Yeah.
Nangya ka.
No,
Definitely a better version of me in your eyes.
it's easier to look at. But no, in all seriousness, the more I get to know people, that we have people like Pam and yourself, Ron, working on things like this, the more trust I have in the movement. And I mean, people laugh at me sometimes and say, why are you so supportive of these things? It's just that I have experience of knowing people like you who I believe have the best interest of the country at heart. Because sometimes people just think, pag inisip ko kasi minsan ng politicians, they just think of the congressman, just the mayor. They don't understand how many brilliant people are also working behind the scenes.
Right.
You know, like they say about Manny Pacquiao, he comes out with all of these man, but he has brilliant people helping him also.
Yeah.
And you know that you are finding someone, no sip, and people like Pam, obviously Pam's very, very passionate about it. You can tell we asked her questions and she knew most of the answers to it, and she explained it very, very clearly. So there, I'm just grateful that we have people like this that I can believe in, and I hope there's more of you out there and that we can support. And because like if somebody asks me now and say, well, what do you think about it? I can at least say I have firsthand information from people like you that this is genuinely what's happening. You know? Other people don't have that advantage. You know? Sometimes you feel bola ka lang. No? But then again, so thanks to you, people like you working on this system, and we're very hopeful that these things happen. My takeaway, my advice to everybody, like I say all the time, is please be open-minded. Don't close your mind immediately to any suggestion just because it's coming from a party that you're not happy with. You never know; it might change your life for the better. We're all guilty of this. It's not just you. We're not criticizing the Yellows, the Dutertes, or anything. We're all guilty of this sometimes, of being so close-minded, not open to criticism or suggestion. We have to be open because these are things that could change not just our lives, but the lives of our children. So imagine constitutional reform such as this would benefit the entire country. So our children would benefit from this. You know, there's so much poverty throughout this country where there shouldn't be. And we always ask, change. I'm so sick of the system. Just keep doing the same thing. Here you go. Somebody's presenting it to you on a silver platter. People have worked hard on it for so long. Took out all of the things that worried you, like term extension, 100% land ownership. So just open your mind, read it, educate yourself, form an opinion, speak to people in the know. If you have lawyer friends or people who are better at it, then ask their opinion. I do it all the time. My lawyer friends hate me because I just, every time I see something, I just send it to them and say, hey, what do you think? And then they'll just say, gago to, parang libreng advice ito. No, but it's just that, like I'm not that bright, diba? So I have to ask people, and also you ask people, who have experience of it. But yun lang. So to my fellow Pinoys, everybody who's out here, I know it's such a divisive time for our country, but let's unite for something that's good. Be open-minded. Don't criticize just for the sake of it. There are things that could change our lives if we open our minds. Di ba nga minsan yung mga networking, di ba? Open-minded ka ba? Kape tayo, di ba? Ganyan, malay mo, yumaman ka dito sa pagka-open-mindedness mo dito sa...
Diba?
Yun lang. So yun lang, guys. So please be... let's just do it for the love of the country, not for any particular political party or affiliation. Because there are things that maybe you turn down, there are things you're not happy with, or the things you comment on, pero wala ka naman idea man lang on the lives that this is affecting. Diba? So example lang sa anti-terror, let's talk to the soldiers, let's talk to the people who are, the people who have to fight the NPA on a regular basis, get their side of it and see which ways you can tweak it. I just so happen, I have friends kasi also in the military, they'll tell me about this thing. But yun lang, just be balanced about it. Huwag tayong mag-away lang for the sake of it. Don't lose friendships because of political affiliations is what I suggest, If you can, turn off your Facebook, turn it off, except for when you're watching this vlog. This is very useful.
There's a very interesting that you let me say that's very important. No? People, kasi this is a skill that people can acquire that can be very important, that can be life-changing. Start engaging other people the right way. Don't engage them just because you want to be negative about something that you don't like about them. Engage them because you want to know. You want to learn more about them. Try it for size. No, if you see a policeman, if you see a janitor, you see somebody off the street, try having a conversation with them, even for a second or a minute or two, and then it will definitely give you a different perspective in life, because at the end of it all, we're all interconnected somehow. And what one person will do in his life, without you knowing, that will have a ripple effect on everyone else, including you. Eric, what's your big takeaway from this conversation?
My big takeaway is kung ayaw mo ma-stress, huwag ka mag-Facebook. Hindi, joke lang. First of all, I'd like to thank Ms. Pam being here and shedding some light in constitutional reform. Thank you very much. Ang dami namin natutunan. Kahit late ako, first ang dami ko pa rin natutunan, ang dami ko na-pick up. Medyo nasabi na lahat ni Mikel eh. But for me, one of the things sana na I would like to tell everyone that's watching and who will be watching this the vlog, na wag masyadong knee-jerk yung reactions niya sa social media. There are a lot of things in social media that is not true or half-truths. No, especially mga headlines na yan. And especially mga post ng ibang tao, wag masyadong knee-jerk. Yun lang. Kasi there's so much under that. And sometimes what you see on Facebook is just the tip of the iceberg. So do yourself a favor, research, ask questions, look for articles online, and be resourceful din. Kasi if you just rely on Facebook for your daily news, we're in such big trouble talaga. Wala ka masyado makakuha sa on Facebook. Diba?
Thanks for that, Rick.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's very, very stressful nowadays on Facebook. Lahat na lang there's a problem. There's a problem here, there's a problem there.
Kasi you can't avoid it, Rick. We're part of that echo chamber of, we have a lot of friends from the other side.
I know. I mean,
yun talaga. Pam, you missed it earlier, but I said some really kind words about you. So if you can watch it back later. I said basically you're a better version of Ron Poblete, and we're just so that you can hear it direct from me. That we're very grateful for geniuses and people who are so passionate and mean well for the Philippines, having people like you in the government. And just keep up the good work. Don't get frustrated by all the detractors. Like I said earlier, if you know what you're doing is right and for the right reasons, just do it, because damned if you do, damned if you don't.
That's great, Mikael. That's so kind of you to say that about Pam, because I truly agree with everything you said about Ms. Pamela Carbonell here. I just want to show you something before we leave. Before we say goodbye, I just want to show you this photograph taken by a satellite of that the Philippines launched, I think, and it shows the Philippines from the sky, from space. As you can see, there is like a concentration of light. Yeah, those are lights. This was taken during the nighttime, and if you can see, if you look at the northern part of the Philippines, that's where you see a concentration of lights. Very bright. That's actually Metro Manila and Calabarzon and Region 3.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm showing you this photograph is this only goes to show from a different perspective, right above the sky, what the disparity is between the rest of the country.
Yeah.
Okay? That's the reason why we need constitutional reform, because we want that light to spread. We want that light to spread all over the country. That progress or economic progress will spread, and all the rest of the population will benefit from all the economic activity due to constitutional reform. So we're hoping that people will support it. And I leave it to
Ron, alam ko na kung sino yung kontra pala sa constitutional reform based on this picture alone.
Sino?
Si Meralco. Bro, tatanggalin mo ng negosyo. Diyan sila kumikita, oh.
Kaya nga dapat junk Meralco bill talaga. Junk Meralco bill.
Miss Pam, you have some shout-outs. We want to show something else also for Miss Pam, kasi she's a very talagang an example to follow to Miss Pam. Not only she's a hard worker, and she inspires people to
Tuwing maganda sasabihin ni
but she
Ron,
also has side actively working with. Na ano si Miss Pam, naninibago. Okay. So, ito lang. Miss Pam, maybe your parting shots. Tapos,
Parting shot.
yeah, you go.
Okay. And then I just want to thank you for having me
gonna-
here. Mikel, Eric, sobrang thank you for the very engaging. Sana, we can continue this personally when we're all, okay na yung quarantine and all. We can hang out and then yun. Tapos, thank you for all those who tuned in. Sana may natutunan naman kayo from us. And sana, thank you na nakisabay kayo. I mean, sabi nga nila, kapag pag Facebook, ito yung panoodin yung ito yung panoodin yung video na live and discussions.
Tama.
And then, I'm just gonna plug this, again, for today's Future and Futurist, if you can donate, they've seen you at your most right now, help us see them through the most testing time. This is for the staff ng Today's Future and Futurist because yun nga, very affected ang bars natin dun sa COVID because it's still closed.
Yeah.
When everything is being opened up, the industry is still closed. So sana matulungan natin sila. Last parting words na lang. So ayun, thank you. And then I'm speaking directly to the youth if you're watching. Ayun.
Shoot out na kami. Bye!
Hindi, I mean, our range, us, tayo. Yeah.
Okay.
Sana, ayun nga okay lang sana if you voice out your opinions and all, if you feel so. But sana, you're also open to conversations that you're not very comfortable with. Because that's what we're discussing here, na marami talagang may hindi gusto pag-usapan yung mga ganitong types of reforms. But yun nga, I hope you look at the more long-term goal of our generation towards pushing for reforms in the long run. And that's more of beyond what administration, who it's being pushed by. Let's talk about kung ano yung pwede nating i-push for our country in our time, for the future generation din. So kung anong kaya nating gawin sa generation natin, let's do it. Let's talk about it. Let's debate on it. And I hope na you're open to conversations more. Ayun. Thank you.
Ayun na, nagsalita na ako sa akin na. Makinig kayo.
Iboto si Pam.
Grabe. Tumakbo na lang pala.
Luis na kayo sa kalsada. Sumali na kayo sa gobyerno.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sir Ron, for inviting me.
Of course, my pleasure. I knew, kasi si Pam rin, meron rin kaming niluluto na, natili nilang vlog ni, another person from our CFCR.
Tuloy ba yun? Parang okay na ako dito.
CR.
Parang gusto ko
family, CFCR. Gusto mo dito ka na lang mag-guest pa natin. Gusto mo, gano'n na lang.
Okay lang.
Pero in-encourage namin si Pam. Meron kasi kaming kasama si Jam naman from CFCR. Sila yung aming dynamic duo Si Pam Jam. Kaya magandang pangalan for a blog sana. And we're hoping that we can come up with a blog that features the two of them. Diba? So, youth, women power. Di ba? Combination yun. Magandang lethal combination yun. Pero we'll have both guests again here sa Istoryang futBOLERO para masali lang sila sa exposure nila.
Format. Yeah.
Sabi ko, next nating usapan pag okay na yung Anyway.
So,
ayun.
okay. Miss Pam, thank you so much.
Thank
Eric,
you.
Mikel.
Thank you, Pam. Thank
Mikel,
you.
Eric, Sir Ron.
Nice to meet you, Pam. Keep up the
Nice
good
to meet
work.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, keep it up,
May kulang doon sa sinabi ni Pam. Actually, sabi niya, Mikel, yung pretzel wag mong kalimutan.
Don't worry. Don't worry. Saan ka ba malapit?
Hindi ko kasi masabi na hindi kasi ako naglalaro ng football So, sabi sa let's meet on the turf. Pero,
nakakatawa yun si Pam. Sabi niya, Sir Ron, dapat ba ako mag-guest sa futBOLERO? Kasi mahirap na. Bakit kaya? Arsenal fan pala yan, by the way. Arsenal.
Sino Arsenal fan?
Baduy.
Tottenham ako.
Sino? Si
Pam?
Pam.
Woo!
Oh. Ganon.
Arsenal ba?
Boo!
Hindi ako pretentious, hindi ako sobrang pero yeah. Yun.
Ako
Mortal
dati, okay.
enemy ng Tottenham yan.
Alright.
Tottenham.
So Monday, don't forget sa Monday, guys, yung mga nanonood ngayon, sana manood rin kayo ulit sa Monday. Maganda yung talakayan, Nax, pang yung usap-usapan sa Monday about be about the very controversial anti-terrorist bill.
Yun.
Si Digo ang nag-push niyan. Si Ping Lacson, matagal na niyang sinulat yung bill na yan. I think 4 years ago pa. Ngayon lang talaga siya na-ratify ng maayos or pumasa sa third read, na-pass na sa Senate tsaka sa Congress. Tsaka signature na lang ni Presidente. But si Ping Lacson talaga yung main author.
Alright.
Tama, Ms. Pam? So we're gonna talk about that on Monday. Ang plano ko, Ms. Pam, is to invite Attorney Cesar din sana. Baka sana if he's free, pwede natin magaling si Attorney Cesar ng DILG rin. Very well versed with the law. And si former USEC Bobby Capco will join us on Monday. Hopefully we'll get Adilawan to join us as well.
Grabe yung, sabi natin wala ng polarizing
Sorry.
Right.
No polarizing.
What Ron meant to say was somebody from the opposing side with a different point of view. With a different point of view that we are open to listen to.
Yes. Non-PC yung term eh.
Correct. Oo nga, medyo
So it's like teaching. It's like teaching an old dog new tricks no, Ron? No?
What's your takeaway from this?
My takeaway, definitely let me start with Roy Sequoia here saying that this is the second time that your faces looks familiar. I got interested because you're talking not nonsense. Surely we would learn many things from you guys. Thank you, are helping us to be aware of current issues. You're all amazing. Thank you so much, Roy, for the compliment.
Thank you, Roy.
And big takeaway here, like I said, Ms. Pam, it's been a joy working with you. And then we're hoping to, really make a dent and make, mountains move with our constitutional reform campaign, because this is a very important campaign. This is by far the most important thing that could happen in the Philippines. And I hope people will realize that before it's too late. We have 2 years to do it. We need your help. I'm hoping before the president speaks in his SONA in July that we will get enough support from the public so that Congress will, act on it. Because this year is a very critical part of the reform or our push for reforms, and it starts with constitutional reform. So think about that, and we're hoping that we will see your signatures down the line, right, Ms. Pam?
Yes. Visit our pages.
Yes, what are the pages, Ms. Pam? Tell them.
Please visit our website, www.constitutionalreform.gov.ph. On Facebook, it's Core PHL for Philippines, PHL, Core PHL. You can visit those 2 pages. For our CSOs who are still very active, it's Core Movement, the Core Movement page. So yun naman mas private sector, public sector yung So thank you. Mr. Pages para you can learn.
Agad. Facebook, check out your Facebook, tapos share, comment,
share, message
like,
us
share,
if you have
comment,
questions.
Right. Do it now also on Pop Beans kung meron kayong mga tanong about constitutional reform. And we will definitely leave siguro some links to those websites, those Facebook pages, so you can join us. All right. So guys, our last bit of advice: don't forget to wash your hands, wear a mask every day, and keep social distancing because it's not over yet. All right. Good night, everyone.
Yep.
See you.
Thank you.
Bye. Cheers.